Paying homage to the Mecca of tobacco, Pinar del Rio, Cuba, Abe Flores opened his PDR cigar factory in the Dominican Republic over 10 years ago. Abe is one of the hottest boutique cigar makers in the industry today, earning the number 10 spot on Cigar Aficionado's top 25 cigars of 2014 with the Abe Flores 1975 Serie Privada. Abe and his team use Cuban blending traditions in a modern boutique Dominican factory. Smoke PDR cigars and cut, light, and taste what they love to do. Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Nea, and Baracoa. Duran Cigars uses a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard. Brought to you by Rocky Patel Premium Cigars. The sun-grown Maduro is hand-rolled at Rocky Patel's boutique factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. This triple-capped, hand-bunched, and hand-rolled cigar is accompanied by a gorgeous broadleaf wrapper. Well-balanced, rich, and decadent, it truly is a great addition to any humidor and worthy of bearing the long-respected sun-grown name. For more information, visit them on the web at rockypatel.com and be sure to follow Rocky Patel Premium Cigars on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. M. Bombay cigars represent the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. They select the best of the best quality tobacco to use in the aging process. M. Bombay cigars are then rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving it a unique smoking experience. The band portrays the detailed and artistic nature of our small industry. Try the M. Bombay Casera, M. Bombay Mora, and the recently released M. Bombay Habano. M. Bombay Cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks Show. This is our Stogies of the Week segment. Will, why don't you kick us off?
Well, do we want to kick off with the unbanded?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
This was the week 3. We need to get a better naming, numbering convention. But
yeah,
in lieu of that, this was week 3.
Yep. We're calling this the week 3 unbanded. And it looked like, I want to say, about a 4.5 by 60, something along those lines. It was a 60 ring gauge. Now, I didn't have to light this up. I kind of just smelled the wrapper, and I knew exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've been smoking a lot of these. I'm just going to let you go with it, Will, because people kind of know what I think about the cigar. So
yeah, it was basically a very creamy cigar. It had a notes of coffee, and it had a lot of sweetness. And it was the Nub Cappuccino.
So this is the Nub Cafe Cappuccino 460, the Gordo size. It's 4 by 60. This is a Connecticut Sumatra wrapper with mostly Dominican tobaccos. I say it's notes of vanilla bean and notes of cedar. I don't get any cedar from this cigar. Do you?
No, I didn't get some cedar from this cigar.
No, I don't really get vanilla so much from vanilla.
I didn't get vanilla. I got that lot. Here's what I got from it. It was a good cigar. It was like an oversweetened latte for me.
Yes. Yeah. I would describe it as like you put a lot of cream and sugar in your coffee, kind of taste and sweetness.
It was a little too heavy on the sweetness for my liking.
Interesting.
But I mean, I gave it a 5. I thought it was a fiver. I thought it was a, like I said, I thought it was a decent cigar for what it was. I know you were high on it, and
I do. I like this cigar. I rate the cigar box-worthy. It's one of the few flavored cigars that works its way into my regular rotation. When my palate is tired, especially in the morning, I reach for this cigar. I reach for Tobacco Special. Not all the time, but I usually like a Friday morning after I smoked a ton of cigars on Thursday night. I'll reach for one of these cigars in Friday morning. It's kind of like a palate reset. This is one of the ones that I don't find too sweet, Will. I think it's got a pretty good balance. Tobacco Special is not as sweet as this, so if you like this enough to call it a fiver, Tobacco Special may be one you might like a little better.
Right.
And you got to find your size for that too. But I tell you what, for like a 60 ring gauge flavored cigar, to rate that high with us is saying something. And believe me, I've smoked some flavored cigars kind of in this wheelhouse. Haven't been a huge fan. This is one that I come back to.
And I think with me, my palate, I'm a little more sensitive to the sweetness on a cigar.
Yeah, no, I am too. I don't
agree.
like really sweet drinks or really sweet desserts either, and certainly really sweet cigars. As I said before in the show, the Drew Estate Natural, that's just too sweet. It's too sweet for me. To me, this Nub Cafe and the Cappuccino kind of knocked it down a peg a little bit on the sweetness end, and it's one that I like to smoke. So
Yeah, and I would say this: if someone is breaking in with a cigar, there's nothing wrong with giving them this cigar as a starting point.
Yep.
But like I said, I like the term palate reset because I find a flavored cigar can reset a shot palate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is,
sure.
but I've had luck with that before.
It's like eating a piece of chocolate or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it doesn't like you. Sometimes you fear if you're going to smoke a flavored cigar that your palate's going to be like demolished for the rest of the day. That this cigar doesn't do that to you. I can go pick up any cigar after this.
Dave and I, we did some George Castro or something like that. You talk about a reset.
Was it flavored? No.
Let's go on to the next thing we're talking about.
It wasn't a good flavor.
I got maybe it was the shortest smoking cigar I ever had in my life.
Couple of puffs.
30 seconds.
30. That's like 2 puffs.
2 puffs too much. But the Nub Cafe, it's surprisingly.
Yeah, have you smoked these?
No, I had to do that. I just was curious because I don't even want to say this. I'd like to smell the cigar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would I smoke it all the time? Absolutely not. But I could see someone smoking this because if you're into the Javas, Isla de Sol, or things like this, I think it has more than that. I really do.
I do too. Yeah, I put it pretty high in the flavored cigar thing.
It's better than this vanilla or cherry and that type of flavor.
Someone gave me some that was like rum, coconut, or yeah. Like some of the flavored ones are just
those old heavenly ones.
Yeah, they're like atrocious. This is one that I think if you're a Stogie geek, right, and you're gonna try a flavored cigar, like try this one. You get your best chances with this one.
What this works with because of the ring gauge. You know,
I was just gonna say that.
The ring gauge has everything to do with the cigar. It really does.
With a cup of coffee in the morning, this is good. Is it as it's? I would say like smoking something like this that's flavored is not as like refined as reaching for like a really good Connecticut. Have you smoked the Ernesto's Humidor?
Yes.
The Connecticut.
The Connecticut.
The Connecticut is really good.
I tell you, Tyler told me, he says you got to smoke this being your first cigar of the day. I'll tell you what, it was a tasty little morsel. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of addicted to it. I reviewed them in a previous episode, but I wanted to see what you thought of that. Like, it's a good cigar, right?
Yeah, it was, it wasn't one of my favorites, no, but it was better than what I expected.
Yeah.
You got to go in there with an open mind, and I wasn't really, I tell you, when the dry draw, I didn't get anything off it. Nothing. And nothing to really get into.
I didn't think it was super mild either.
No.
It's got a little bit of strength to it for a Connecticut.
But
not much.
Did you get anything off the dry draw at all?
No, you're right. Yeah, like even when you smell the wrapper in the foot, you get nothing.
Oh, here we go. But
no, it's a good offering.
And mine have just arrived. Thank you, Paul.
So I put some in there for you, Will. So I'm curious.
So I have them. They're going in the humidor because the weather is, despite the fact we've had some rain, it's this cold weather is just dry right now. They have to go in the humidor for a while.
They got to.
Yeah, so it'll be a couple weeks, but I look forward to. I did get them, so thank you. Yeah.
I went back and I smoked a Sombremesa. This is the Cervantes Fino.
That's the size I really liked.
It's a 6 1/4 by 46.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good cigar. I enjoyed smoking it. I think in this particular blend, I like some of the larger sizes a little better. I thought in this blend, it was, for me, a little bit one-dimensional, and I rated it a 5. I thought it was good, by all means, but I think to compare it to some of the different Vitolas in the line, some of those larger ones, for me, offer up a little more complexity, a little more depth in their flavor than the smaller size. And I think it speaks to how you get into some of those smaller ring gauges, and it can be tough to incorporate all those different tobaccos. So,
Yeah, and I noticed there's a real polarizing. There's a lot of polarization with people with this line. There's people like me, they like the Cervantes Finos, but there are people, Paul, who have preferred the Toro and the Corona Doble in that.
yeah, I think it's the Corona
So
Doble that I like better.
that's a little more dialed back, the Corona Doble, I thought.
Yeah,
But I'm noticing there's two camps to this, and
right.
it's either one side or the other is what I'm noticing.
But I think that's good for Steve, because I think he can appeal to different types of smokers.
Because as much as we can turn around and say I'm not a 60 gauge smoker.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the opposite side who smoke small, and that's all they think that there is in life too. You know what I mean? You got to vary out. You have to.
I'm
You
like
really
an
do.
awesome cigar smoker. Like, if it's awesome, I'll smoke it. It doesn't matter the size, wrapper, manufacturer. Like, if it's awesome, I'm going to smoke
it. Goes
right?
past 54. I just have a tough time. I really do.
Eat it. But,
But I'll
even
still
saying
smoke
that, saying that, there are some 60 rings.
Gotta blend it,
And the box-pressed 60 rings are the ones that I tend to gravitate to, right? The factory press, the Avo Synchro Nicaragua and the 60 ring, those are ones that I gravitate to. Back to you, Will.
So I'll talk about this cigar because I think you have one opinion of it, and Stogiesanta has another opinion of it, and I think I'm now in the middle. It's the Lennox. I've been smoking this. Now, a lot of people really like this cigar. I think it was a fair cigar, is what I'll say. It was more in the $5 range, probably at max for me with that.
Majority of people, just to hit on your first point before you go into more detail, I think from what I've seen in the industry so far, the response to this cigar, majority really love this cigar. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of in between. Like, there's the majority that loves it, and I think there's a smaller group of people that don't. But some of the shops I talk to, can't keep this thing on the shelves.
It's back ordered.
Yeah.
No, here's what I'll say about this cigar. We've talked about this cigar a lot, so I don't even want to.
Yeah.
It's a dial back LaFleur. Nothing wrong with that. This cigar, the only way I got anything out of this cigar that was, I think, interesting to me is on a totally first cigar of the day clean palate. I could not, when I had this cigar, second or third cigar, I just couldn't get anything off this cigar. There is some subtle flavors. It's one of those you do want to smoke undisturbed. It would not be my first choice of a LaFleur. It's an $11 cigar, so but I see where people may want to get this cigar. So I kind of get it. I do get it. It could be it's not the cigar, it's me in this case, as Dave Burke would say. But like I said, I just wasn't. I know a lot of people had this very, very high ranked, and I know you had it as a top 10 cigar. I didn't see it like that. I didn't think it was a bad cigar, but I just didn't have it there.
We're in a minority because everybody. I just in the beginning, the first half-inch cigar. So I thought that was a fire-cured cigar. I really did. I had that.
There was
something about it that and know what happened? That stuck in my head. And I tried a half a dozen of these cigars. I can't. It's me.
You've been trying to go back and smoke them.
I've been trying, and I just can't get it.
There's a sweet charry note in that cigar, which I could swear it's almost fire. Yeah.
It just and again, I'm the one that's, like you said, that's a good thing what Dave said. It's me, not the cigar, and I've tried, and let's put it this way, it's back ordered. So Who are we
It's
to say?
okay, more for me. I mean, if you guys don't want to smoke the ones
That's
you got,
fine.
you
I
can
mean-
send them to me. I'll smoke them.
but here's the
I
great
love the
thing.
cigar. I think it's great, but
There's a lot of stuff in the
there's a
portfolio that's
I've been in
fit.
the majority. Yeah, I love the cigar.
That's why you have multiple lines in a portfolio, and that's why you have that, because you just can't hit it with anyone. But I'm not going to sit here and say this is a piece of junk. I don't think that.
hell no, hell
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But what
No.
I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
what I think, I'm just assuming this. This is my assumption. I think what they did was step out of the box.
Yeah.
This is not your typical DNA of an LFD. Can we
No.
all say that? Do we agree on that
Yeah,
one?
I think you need to just like take the band of this cigar, buy one, and just smoke it. And you're gonna be. It's a very polarizing cigar, right? You're either gonna love this cigar or it's just not gonna be in your wheelhouse. And I don't think people are gonna say it's
not
a bad
terrible.
cigar, right?
No.
They're just gonna be like, it's just
a f-
whatever this flavor profile is. It's either gonna appeal to you or it's not. Like it's very
I'll tell you
polarizing.
what. For every fiver that you give it, there's 5 other people going to give it a box worthy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, let's put it this way: they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. No, I agree. I thought, independent of the cigar's, taste and flavor, their packaging I thought was very, very nice. I think the wrapper is gorgeous, and the band they put on it looks nice. It's very appealing.
It's a
That speaks
rough-looking
nothing
thing.
to whether you're going to like the cigar or not, but I think marketing-wise, they did a nice job with the presentation.
I totally agree. The band pops. The wrapper is very beautiful on that cigar. And like I said, there is a market for that cigar. I still am old school when it comes to LaFleur. I like the power bombs from LaFleur.
Let's put it this way here: I wholesale that cigar here and there when I can, but I can't do it anymore because we can't get them in for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it's been a huge.
That's
hit
why
for
I
that.
say, like, the majority of people are, like, really digging
I've seen
this cigar.
some ratings like I just can't. 90.
If you're in the minority, you're like, what is going?
94,
Yeah,
I'm saying.
no. But I've been in the opposite end of that too.
Oh yeah, good for them. That's what I'm saying.
It's,
Congratulations.
it's your opinion. So
Yeah, well, like I said,
congratulations.
there's plenty that LaFleur makes that there's a spot for me that I'll smoke their cigars. So I
boy.
can't. If I'm smoking and loving every LaFleur cigar, then like Steve Saka says, you can't love like every cigar because you won't love a cigar.
Mm.
Yep.
I smoked a couple of these Rorschachs from what is it? The like sub brand he created is
Blackwork Studio.
Blackwork Studio.
Yep.
The first one I smoked it was good. I would call it a 5-er. The one that I smoked tonight actually was a little better. I noticed that there were some differences. The flavors tend to pop a little more tonight for me in the cigar than it did earlier. And my palate's kind of tired tonight, so I would think it would be the opposite. But, it wasn't bad. I would still keep it at a 5-er. And I think especially I would stand behind my rating that these cigars are only like 4 and change.
They are what they are.
To get a 5-er of these little petite Coronas to go outside in the winter and smoke one, I think it's something you should definitely check out. So
There you go.
Yep. Yep, and we were actually talking about that off the air. It's it's a great long filler cigar, and they're it kind of every one of them has a little bit of a different nuance with them. He was saying so. So that's something a little different, which I kind of like with that.
Stogiesanta, what else you been smoking?
I don't want to say because I don't. I've been on a Cuban kick, so
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's
no,
okay.
No.
There are cigars that come from Cuba that we can give our opinions on. It's totally fine, dude.
No, it's just I know what happens. It's just it's the old age of me, and some of the things I can't smoke these big power bombs anymore. I just can't do it. I need time from it. I need time away, and
But that's I think that's one of the redeeming qualities of Cuban cigars is they fall within a pretty narrow spectrum in the strength scale.
right.
And it's not that they're really mild and not that they're really strong. I find them to be very versatile, right? It can be my first cigar of the day or it can be my last cigar of the day, but it still works for me.
And talk about cleansing of the palate. That's mine.
Yeah, because they have
Cubans,
it's a very
so
we call it
delicate.
that Cuban twang, right? But it's that very prominent flavor, which I find to be very enjoyable.
And for me, this is just me. I smoke different brands of different cigars, and it's not the cigar. It's me. I get hot burn. I can't. I'm getting old. It is what it is. I never get a hot burn on a Cuban. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's so
It doesn't tire out your palate either, like a lot of other cigars.
It truly hasn't. But Diplomatico. Dave has.
This is what I'm smoking now, the
yeah.
Diplomatico Bellicoso.
Yeah.
Very good.
How old is that, Dave? So
July 14. Yeah,
it's
it's
almost
good.
2 years old.
It's good. I don't know if I'd let these age too much longer. I don't know. Maybe it's my palate too. Yeah. Yeah.
But,
interesting.
The one I tell you what, I've been another one I've been hitting high and hard. I've been taking off. You've been smoking some of the LGs at work. Americano.
The Litto Gomez Americano.
I like those. I like this year's.
You know, no, this is not this year's. This is 2 years ago.
Oh, the 13th?
Yeah.
How are they smoking? I haven't had.
Oh, they're smoking great.
You know,
And the
those
Lanceros.
LGs, man, they need, with some age, like a
And
couple
time to
years,
calm it down.
they calm it down because strength-wise, those things are off the charts when they come out.
Yeah.
But a couple of years, I agree, man. Their flavors really come out.
So,
Yep.
you know, it's just been, you know, I went into that direction for a little bit. But another one, the little, I kill the name, Laranaga, Paul Laranaga, the little petites.
Paul Laranaga, Petit Corona.
Oh, Petit Corona. I fall in love with those. And then they did the Monte Carlo. The other one, is it Monte Carlo? Not
Monte Cristo.
No.
Monte Cristo.
Yeah, Monte Carlo.
Oh, the Monte Carlo is the size in the Paul Laranaga.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Are those the little pencil?
Yeah,
I bought a box of those.
You got to let them sit because
long
the
time
floral
ago.
gets too much.
Yeah.
It gets too much.
I haven't gone back and smoked
Go
those in a
back.
long time.
Oh, wait. Wait till you do it. Wait till you do it.
Oh, I'm going to have to dig those up. I probably have 8 or 9 of them left from a box I bought like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
At best and whatever. And that
Those
floral
are.
note,
Oh, this
almost
is.
like a
What is
perfect-
it, like a 32
Like a
ring?
Panatella.
It's
36.
36 ring gauge on those, yeah. You gave me one that was like 6 or 7 years old, and it was like an orange creamsicle. You can go back and listen to
exactly.
it. It was orange creamsicle, dude,
Right,
all day
it goes
long.
from that floral, almost over floral note to almost a perfume type.
To like sweetness.
And it
just
comes
sweetness.
into that. I just been on that little kick. And once I get in
Those
there,
are
I
not
can't
expensive
stop.
either.
No.
Those Monte Carlos. Yeah.
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 So
Back to you, Will.
I smoked. We were talking about this a little before the show, but this is a cigar I did really like, and it was the Rocky Patel Sun-Grown Maduro Robusto.
Is it the box press? They
that's
box
the
press that whole line?
They box press that whole line, but the 60 and the Lancero.
Okay.
So they're using a Connecticut broadleaf, double Nicaraguan binder and Nicaraguan filler. They're making it at Rocky's factory in Nicaragua. I found this to be a little more of a rougher, grittier Maduro. Like when we were talking about that a little with James Brown earlier. So I do enjoy a cigar like that. It had some nice sweetness in it that was really good. I enjoyed the Robusto size quite a bit as well. I'd say it's a medium. It's mostly medium to full in terms of strength and body. It has some underlying spiciness in this cigar, though, is what I'll say. So if someone wants spice, or doesn't want spice, I'm not sure if this is a cigar for them, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was kind of the under the radar release. A lot of people really like this cigar too. I saw a lot of people rate this high. I gave it a box split in my book. Price point about $860, so it's not too bad. But I thought it was and I think it's a cigar that's got a lot of aging potential too. With that broadleaf. So I dry boxed it for a while too, now I'm dry boxing all my broadleaf lately.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah, I didn't dry box and I had it at a 5 now. You got me thinking I should probably dry box it and smoke it again.
You got to dry box. I mean, I dry box a little less this time of the year, but yeah, because I'm going to talk about another cigar in a minute with a broadleaf that I dry boxed as well. And so I mean that's just I would say dry box it a little, and see with that.
Paul Joel gave me one of the first releases of this J. Grotto Anniversary Short Robusto. This is a broadleaf cigar, too.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. When you say first release, is this the first release?
No, this is not the first release.
Okay.
Oh,
so
this is the first release of this cigar. This is not the original release, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but this is the one with the wrong band on it. Yeah,
That's the wrong band.
He said that. I'm going to put a note in there. This is the wrong band on it. I tell you what, when this cigar first started up, it almost had a Cuban twang to it. Like, it had some great
that
flavors.
458 is a nice little cigar.
I like that.
It started off great.
And I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah,
It's
go
got
ahead.
a little pop to it.
Yeah, it takes a little while to kind of get warmed up and give a little bit of a more even kind of burn. And I think that's because I didn't dry box this cigar. I probably should have.
Oh, yeah.
It would have benefited that. It had a tendency to want to go out on me. So it definitely, to go along with what you're saying, well, you teed it up nicely. Your Connecticut broadleaf, dry box that stuff, man.
Because you think about that. When they're working the cigar, they're going to add water to it to make it pliable to roll it. So and the cigar itself with the oilness to it. So it does. It really it takes time to sit.
Yeah,
it really
the
does.
first third was the most enjoyable for me. I mean, it was just opened up with flavors. So I don't think I put a rating on this because it was.
I call it 5
the
all
wrong
day long.
band. I called this one box worthy because I did put a rating. So the first third was just so awesome. And the next ones that I smoke will definitely be a dry box. So that was a good one.
Yep, absolutely.
Back to you, Will.
I'm sorry, Mark. You say something?
No, go ahead.
So I went back and smoked an EP Carrillo Inch Maduro. In of all ring gauges, a 64 ring gauge. And this is this does have a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and Dominican filler. And I've smoked these before, and with this broadleaf, I've had a dry box it as well, especially with this big ring gauge. Now, I thought again for a big ring gauge, I put it about a 5. It's a if someone likes the big ring gauge and they like some Connecticut broadleaf, it's a pretty good cigar. It's going to deliver the classic broadleaf notes on it. I thought that it had very good combustion even for a 64 ring gauge. I was surprised with that. Personally, I would probably go for the 60 before the 64 if I'm putting it anyone's hand.
I'll tell you, Ernesto that's a great point. Ernesto did a great job. He's with bigger ring cigars, the way he blended the Vitola.
Yeah.
And the 64 was okay, but I agree with you, the 60 a much better smoke. And Coop, you can do for maybe some of the new listeners that are listening to us, why don't you explain what the dry box procedure is all about?
Good point.
Yeah, good point. Let me see if I can explain it right. Basically, when you get cigars out of your retailer's humidor, you take them home and you put them into your own humidor. And that humidor is there's going to be humidity control in that thing. Whether you're using Boveda, Cigar Oasis, whatever, you're going to do that. The dry box is basically, there's a couple of different ways I've seen this done. Mark, correct me. I mean, you could put it in a box, a cedar box, without humidification, or you can put it in with very low humidity, and go that way.
Right.
I tend to just go put it into the dry box. You want to monitor that thing, and the way you got to monitor that thing is touch it.
That's it. Just feel that.
You got to feel it because, and especially if you're in a dry time of the year like now, it could dry quicker than you'd expect, and then you're gonna get cracking on a wrapper.
Right, and some people say during the winter time it's going to dry out. Some people they'll say, well, I'll leave it outside. When I say outside the box during the summer months, don't do that because it's going to absorb even more moisture.
Absolutely,
and that's why that dry box makes a big difference, and it does. It changes. I just get a minerally taste to that sometimes, not just because it's wet. That minerally taste I get off a wet cigar for me.
Very important. You want a sealed box with that too.
Oh yeah.
So,
exactly.
so in other words, like you just said, I said a cigar box, but
like
you
a humidor, a cedar line.
Yeah. You want a cedar line humidor because, again, like you said, you don't want to get any of that more moisture. And in the summer, I'm done smoking. I don't in the summer. I won't even when I go into a cigar shop. If I buy a broadleaf cigar, I'm just like, I don't smoke it in the shop usually. They're always I just always am having problems down here with them.
Oh, it's not just that, but think about it. Everyone's humidor is at 70%. So now here you are, you got a wrapper it's just sucking up that moisture.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it's
I mean,
doing.
and I've been critical. I've talked to some of my reviewer peers, and I'm very critical of these reviews off the truck, with especially in the summer. I just don't get it. How, because I just don't get the same experience. Again, maybe it is me. I don't know, but I just find there needs to be that stabilization point. And you know, I just think a little extra time. I know cigars are meant to be enjoyed right away, but some cases it's worth the wait a little.
And especially when, the manufacturer is nice enough, or whoever happens to be, small or large, they send up samples to do. You like to let them acclimate. If they send them to you warm climate, cold climate, it makes a difference. Let it rest, because this way here it can make a difference of saying, I'll bring it in or not.
And don't let them get too dry.
No.
I think that if it reaches a point where the water starts to evaporate, then the oil start to evaporate, and then once the oil start to evaporate, forget it. That's it. You can bring that cigar back, but it's not going to be the same.
No, but don't forget all that what it does when it's really cold, the oils actually retract in the cigar. You know what I mean? It's going to come back out when on the flip side. So the cigars are a very finicky scenario. There's no doubt about it.
My wife calls it the most finicky hobby.
Yeah,
it is.
She says, she goes, "You are so finicky." I said, "Yeah, that's exactly what I say, Paul. It is."
It is. I mean, we went up to one time to get Paul cigars, and we got them in from Zengi, who sent them right into Boston, brought it in, sat them down. It was a cold, everything was like that. It was cold outside. Brought them in. You smoked the cigar. It's like, holy.
Is that the same cigar?
No, not even close.
Yeah.
You're saying this is what we picked out for a blend,
right?
No, you let it sit there for a
couple
week
days
or two,
later, or even a week or two.
Exactly. You got it. It doesn't. It's not going to change overnight. It's just
it takes time. It does. It takes patience,
especially Connecticut broadleaf. And then a lot of things. Look at the weather out here. You're in the Northeast. I love people who'll get a Cameroon wrapper or something. They'll go outside or like the Rosado. They'll go outside and smoke the splits, and they can't figure out what's going on.
Don't do that.
Hello.
Don't do it.
Makes a big difference. So.
I agree.
I smoked the Davidoff Nicaragua that you sent me, Will. That was a Bellicoso size.
Yep.
A Bellicoso size?
Yeah. Was this a special store, or what is the story behind this one?
So there was a size. They did a special packaging of this cigar and a special humidor, and there were like 250 of these high-end humidors where they put the Bellicoso in there. But so they actually released this at the show when they launched Nicaragua, but this wasn't a regular production thing. But lately, these have started showing up at some retailers, and they're kind of limited. I think what's left over they've had. So I'd say it's a short Bellicoso in that size.
This was good. It was a great Nicaraguan blend. What I've noticed with the Nicaraguan blend, though, Will, is it not only does it vary by size, I think it varies greatly by age.
Yes.
So, we're just talking about how you store your cigars. Like, this blend is very finicky. So, like, I've had some short Coronas that have been awesome. I've had some short Coronas that have been just okay. I've had a Toro that was just okay. And I've had some Toros that have been amazing. And I don't think it's the blend, because knowing who blended it, right? I mean, Hankey's like one of the best blenders on the planet. I don't think it's the blend. I think that the blend that makes up this cigar is just very kind of finicky in terms of age, and maybe in terms of conditions as to when you smoke it. I rated this one a box split. I think it was a great offering in the Nicaragua. Is that what you had too?
That's what I would have it. Yeah.
Great offering, and I buy a lot of 5-packs of this blend. And the inconsistencies I think I've noticed are really just a matter of like age and kind of climate that you keep them in. Like I smoked a Toro in the summer and it was kind of just okay. But I smoked a Toro, here in the office in the winter, and it was awesome. So.
Excuse me for the interruption. So what was the consensus on this belly?
Box split.
Box split is where I have it.
Okay.
About where I have it, yeah.
No.
I think, like I said, with that blend, it's the short Corona and the Diadema, which are the smallest in the lot.
Short Corona is awesome.
Awesome.
Those two sizes, in my opinion.
I had the Diadema. I don't know. I found it kind of muted.
Well, like I was just saying,
I was just gonna say,
but the inconsistencies, I find inconsistencies in this blend, and not because of the blending. I think it's age, how long it's been aged, and how it's been aged.
And
I think they smoke different, like fresh, than they smoke like a couple of weeks in my humidor versus a couple of months kind of thing. Like I think it's just a very finicky blend. I haven't been able to really pinpoint it because amongst all the sizes, I'll smoke the same size, and I'm like, well, that one was really awesome, and that one was just okay. But I think it's an age thing with this one.
You know what I find? We talk all around from the nations, and we chime in on the chat. People say Corona's a tough sell, or Lancero's a tough sell. Bellicosos are a tough sell.
But they are.
They really. It's really, and sometimes, like I said, I don't get it. I enjoy bellies, but it's a certain one. It really is. It truly is. I think that's one of the toughest sells in the market. Is
this one smoked great. I mean, burn, draw, and construction were spot on.
I learned very early on. I was smoking bellies wrong for a long time. I was clipping too much of them off.
Oh, exactly. What I tell people, because you're changing the combustion rate on it.
Yep.
To draw. So what I always tell people is when you cut a belly or if you're going to do a torpedo, go small.
Small first. You can take more off.
You can take more off. There you go.
It's like
you can't add to it.
Yeah.
You
Why
can't add to it.
I mean, it's perfect. But yeah, I mean, I think it's that, but I think that, and I think that's, I'm not trying to, a lot of people I see that also cut bellies wrong.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely.
But when it's
people cut cigars wrong in general.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But and I mean, like I said, I put myself in that category a long time. But box press, the box press torpedoes are. I mean, Paul and I have talked about this quite a bit over the past year. There's some really good box press torpedoes that are out there.
I'll tell you what, everyone. This is just me.
Oh, cigar of the year.
Huh?
Cigar of the year was a box press torpedo.
Yeah, right. Speaking of, is the Milano. Is everyone love the Figurado? Dave and I the Milano Torpedo Maduro.
Yeah, Torpedo Maduro is a great cigar.
Isn't it a great cigar?
Yes, I agree.
I think they're awesome cigars. I really do. I'm telling you, I think that cigar for a lever is under the radar.
I agree.
It really, truly is a great
I got to
cigar.
go back and revisit it.
Go back and do it. Trust me.
I haven't smoked that in about 2 years, so I really do need to go back and smoke.
I'm telling you, I was right with you, but I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe it's just a better batch that I got in. I don't really know.
Have you guys smoked the San Cristobal Ovation?
Yes.
What did you guys think of this one?
I just smoked it today after talking to Seth, so I want to get you guys' opinion because I think go ahead.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it had a nice underlying sweetness that kind of persisted throughout. And I thought it was a pretty solid offering. There was I would say a mild complexity. There was enough complexity where if you paid attention to it, I think you could pick it up. And I thought it was a good offering, and I rated it box worthy.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of it?
I wasn't as high on it as you were.
I wasn't as high on it either. I thought it went flat after and Seth said the same thing. I thought it went flat after the first third.
Not even the first third. I didn't even get into it. I had a tough time with that cigar.
It lost something along the way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I got to give it and I don't want to go too. I don't really want to
Is this the one you didn't agree with me on, Will?
This is the one I didn't agree with you on.
Okay. I smoked 2 of them, and I don't know if I can smoke a third one.
I need to go back and really smoke it. But, yeah, I just smoked it actually. Funny because Seth smoked it yesterday. He was telling me about it. And I said, all right, let me pick one up, see if I agree with him. And I don't know, I did. I mean, I don't think it was power or suggestion. I did. I thought it started out awesome. I'm like, nah, he's wrong on this. And then it just kind of ran out of gas.
I never got the awesomeness off it.
Really?
I did.
See, it didn't run out of gas for me.
It never performed for me from the get-go.
Interesting. So you didn't get a good first third out of it either.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
But again,
I thought it was good.
That's
Yeah.
I think the San Cristobal. To be honest with you, the San Cristobal line is a tight line.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's overdone.
They haven't.
I go back the original San Cristobal line is the one I like.
Yep.
I agree.
I think what they've done, they try to redo something they should have left alone.
I don't understand what they're doing with that. That's a San Andres Maduro, which they have that already in La Roma de Cuba. So
right.
I'm kind of a little confused with the.
And I love that in the Corona and the Robusto.
Yep.
Two great offerings at half the price.
Yep. That's what I would say.
Some of those aged San Cristobal's have been just out of this world.
The older ones, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the size.
How about the Classico?
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Robusto.
Is that the Robusto? Yeah.
One of the best cigars.
God.
One of the best cigars Pepin's ever done.
Yep.
And Ashton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just great. It's already that's already out for 7 years. It's a long time.
Well, back to you.
So speaking of cigars that went out of gas, I smoked the Tatuaje Hyde.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just
This is like a redo, right? We smoked it when it first came out.
Yeah, I smoked it when it first came out, but I haven't seen this cigar really progress much since it came out.
Interesting.
I did get a lot of people talked about this minty note. I did get that minty note. I'm not denying it. But it got right again. Another cigar right after the first third. It just went, in my opinion, it just really went ordinary.
Like mint, like a after dinner mint, or
more
mint,
like
in a mojito kind of.
More like a mojito mint.
Okay.
More like a mojito mint, not that experiment, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but then it got like really earthy and mushroomy. I thought.
Interesting.
Which I just didn't. It just got very ordinary. It wasn't. And even towards the last third of that cigar got harsh, and it's every one of them have done that. So at that point, I really kind of couldn't go higher than to try one on this. I know a lot of people like the cigar. It just was a miss for me. I'll say try it. I know it's appealed to people. But as far as a monster series, I'd probably this one and the JV13 were really the two that didn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a disappointment in the monster because the monster series in general, some of the Pete's really.
What does everyone think about this year's?
Which I'm sorry, which one?
The first, the
Hyde.
The Hyde.
That's the Hyde.
Yeah,
That's
the
Hyde.
Jekyll.
The Jekyll.
Love the Jekyll.
Was
Love
last
the
year.
Last year.
Love the
I
Jekyll.
get confused.
Love the Jekyll.
Yeah, me too.
Sancti Spiritus. It's kind of reminding me that it's getting better with age. In fact, I lit up a Jekyll a few weeks ago during Christmas, and they're smoking great.
Interesting.
I loved it. I mean, I love it. But this is Sumatra. I figured Sumatra with Pete, he usually knocks it out of the park. This one I didn't get it. There were a few people who agreed with me, and there were a lot of people who disagreed with me on this cigar.
Well, in the beginning, I haven't retried it because I haven't bothered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I haven't gone back and smoked either.
Well,
I
was calling you guys. I remember I was driving back from Raleigh, and I was like, "You guys smoke this?" Because I'm like, maybe it's me in the car. I'm like, it's not doing it for me. And then I've gone back a few times with it, and it's still not done it for me.
I smoked the Rocky Patel 20th Anniversary Lancero.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad you tried this one finally.
Yeah, it was weird. I was going through my review humidor, and I gotta clean it. I gotta clean it out like every couple of weeks because there's just a lot of cigars coming in and out of that humidor. And you were talking about this cigar, but I'm like, I really want to try that. What's the blend on this, Will?
It's got a Honduran wrapper on the thing, so it's definitely Honduran. Let me pull up the blend here, but it's a Honduran. It's got a lot of Honduran tobacco in it. It's made at Rocky's factory in Honduras, and I have the blend right up here. It is a Honduran wrapper, Honduran binder. There's
Honduran.
There's Honduran filler along with Nicaraguan. So I was right.
Interesting.
It's a classic 7x38 Lancero.
Yeah. I tell you what, burn, drawn, and construction was spot on with this cigar, and the flavors were great. I mean, it kept your attention throughout, right? Very smooth. I really liked it. I thought it was a great cigar.
I thought with the 20th line,
yeah,
the Lancero shined with that one big time.
What's the MSRP on that one?
I want to say, let me pull it up, $9.
Mm-hmm.
I had it as a fight Chuck Norris. That's how much the flavors popped for me in the cigar. Yeah, like it was really good.
I had it as a box worthy.
Start to finish, it produces great flavors.
$9.65. So yeah.
Yeah.
I had it as box worthy. I thought And have you smoked the other sizes yet? Any of the other sizes? The
No,
box
this
press?
is the only. This is the only one that I've smoked in the 20th anniversary.
So this was my feeling with this cigar, and I like the 20th anniversary line, but I really love this cigar. This is, again, it had a little less of that sweet. I thought I was getting a little more of that sweetness on the
Mm-hmm.
which was a little more than I like. And I thought on this one, it really was, the sweetness was much more grounded to a level that was suited my palate.
Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of sweetness, but just great flavor. I mean, I only smoked one of them, but I wanted to smoke more of them to really,
Yeah,
you know, get the flavor profile in them. But I tell you what, it was just all around was a great cigar.
You know, and I know there's some Stogie geeks that sometimes hesitant to try Rocky. But if you're a Lancero person, I really encourage you to try this cigar. I think you're gonna be I mean, I think you'd agree. You're gonna be real surprised with that cigar.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, two of the lines that stick out in my mind are this one really popped for me. And Rocky Patel's a sponsor, so I mean, I've been doing a lot of sampling, right? The two that pop out for me, this one was awesome, and the Super Ligero I thought was great.
In the Lancero.
And I haven't even smoked it in the Lancero. I've been smoking that Bellicoso size that they have.
Yeah, the sun grown is in the Lancero as well.
Okay, I haven't smoked. I
not,
smoked the sun grown in that. I thought it was a 5er in the size in that Robusto you smoked, Will.
I would let it dry box, but I'm going to give the Lancero a try with that.
Okay.
Rocky's been introducing some more Lanceros, I've noticed lately.
Yeah, he seems to be including that in a lot of his lines now.
I remember when we asked him that in the interview, he was kind of hinting that he was going back to some because he had pulled a lot of them out. And yeah,
this was a win for me all around. So,
yep.
Excellent. Back to you, Will.
Arturo Fuente, Don Carlos, personal reserve.
Ooh.
Robusto.
Ooh.
This, Paul and I were talking earlier today, and Arturo Fuente quietly had a really good 2015. I know some people, the Eye of the Shark was a hit or miss with some folks, but
that was a miss for me.
Yeah, but they did have. I think they had a good year. Yeah, I mean,
and I love the shark size. I think it's a great size for them. In a lot of, they did it in the Opus, they did it in Añejo, obviously, and now in the Don Carlos. In the Don Carlos, it's a miss for me. Now, interesting, this year's Añejo Shark was a miss for me too. Yeah. I didn't think that was great at all.
But I like the 888. The 888 Añejo was really good. The Bellicoso.
Yep.
They had. I know you've been really high on the Opus X Oros.
Oh yeah. So far the Robusto in the Opus X Oro. What do they call that? Ascoro.
Ascoro. Yeah.
In the Robusto was epic for me.
Right.
Now, the other size that I smoked in it wasn't epic, but the Robusto was epic.
But don't forget the batch of the Destino Siglos that came out this year. How good they were.
Yep.
So maybe that's not a new blend, but what they came out with this year,
What is the one that you bought a box of, Dave? No, the little bellies. The little, what do they call those? Will, the one we rated Oasis. They're short.
The Moors.
The Amistad's
Yeah,
the Amistad Amor.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that was the best one of that
Those
line
are
that's
awesome.
come out. Whatever they.
We split a box, Will and I. Oh,
Yeah, we split a box.
God.
Oh, you should have the box should be floating around the studio. So
it's right there. You can see it right behind it. It's at ground level.
I really had to restrain myself in terms of sending Paul that box. Because I wanted it so bad, but I knew he'd
it's
really.
a beautiful box. Yeah, it's in here in the studio.
I think it went well with the Stogie Geeks studio. But I'll tell you what, this personal reserve.
Oh, isn't that something?
It is good.
And I remember I was saying earlier how I smoked it at Joyle's, but it was a little distracted. But I've been smoking more of these, the ones that Paul sent me, and I'm telling you, this is one of the better Fuentes. This cigar just fired up.
Age phenomenal.
It is fired on all cylinders. Now I started doing some research, with this cigar, and from what I understand, this is the personal blend of Carlos Fuentes Sr., but he had that Don Carlos Sr. blend that was floating around a few years ago that he was using for events, and then he sent some out for his 75th birthday. I don't know if that's the same cigar or not. Some people say it is. this cigar is, and some people say it isn't.
Hmm.
But there was a Don Carlos Senior that was a Robusto that was floating around. But I've never smoked it, so I can't say
the
that.
Lancero. Oh, Tonko.
Oh, the Don Carlos Lancero. Yeah, that one just is still even notches above what all these cigars we just talked about.
Yeah. But great flavor, great construction, plenty of complexity. There's some great there's a creaminess, there's a smoothness to the cigar, and there's just it's just a lot of flavor, but it's not overwhelming on a palate. It's a box worthy. I think it's gonna head to Chuck Norris level with a little more time too. Like I said, very, very good cigar that I think floated under the radar with a lot of people this year.
Yeah, because everyone was all over the eye of the shock, and I didn't talk
I
about.
don't get it.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Did you see? It reminds me of the Nox. I mean, we're in the minority on that one.
Really? On the eye of the shark?
Oh, everyone.
Everyone loved the eye of the shark.
Really?
Yeah, the person.
And it's interesting that all three of us are like, and even Dave's sitting there going,
I don't know if the eye of the shark needed more time. I don't know.
I don't think time would have helped that.
I don't know if they're the same blend either. They're very
secretive.
close.
Yeah.
They're very secretive, so we don't know if it's the same blend. But I can tell you, it's not the same cigar.
No.
I had. It was funny to go back to the shock, which is not always my favorite size in it anyway. We all know that. We know what the 46 can do for us.
Okay, yeah.
Is the 46 the Robusto?
No.
The Corona Gorda. Okay.
And
the 50 is the Robusto.
50.
I thought this year's 50 was friggin' awesome.
There's another one, right?
Yeah. But the shock, I got it. Because you kept saying that, and I kept forgetting to smoke it.
Yeah.
I got it. I don't
certain
think age
years,
is,
I find certain years are better than others with the shark. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's just.
Let's put it this way. We still got how much? Half a box? 3/4 of a box left on a 77? That's never happened.
It's never happened. Because this year was a miss for them on that size, I think.
I think it was a miss, but I think there was a lot. If you're a Fuente fan who's going to chase down, and there were some really good releases, I think that had a lot to do with it.
Did anyone get last year's unnamed reserve? I thought was a.
Is that the 60 ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's soft.
Now, this year, they only had up in our region, for the New England region, only 6 boxes of the unnamed
Is that why we
reserve.
haven't seen it? Because I couldn't wait
We're
for
not
the
gonna
unnamed.
get it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Carlito.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I got those Destino Siglos, I happened to be in the right place at the right time. Is all I can say. It was just like, because and they only got one box.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just happened to be there when it came in at a store I'm normally not in every day.
Mm.
That's what you got to do. You always got to bop and pop wherever you got to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll talk about one last cigar here, Will. I smoked the Deka Game Time. This is like a Toro-sized cigar.
That's the one that just came out. Regular product. Not regular product. It's a limited. I think it's a limited.
This one was good. I smoked it first thing in the morning. It was actually my first cigar of the day. Probably not recommending that to everyone out there, but it was a good cigar. It was a little kind of one-dimensional for me. Had some good cedar notes. I thought it was good. I think it's a 5-er. I think it'll get a little better with age, but it's not going to increase in complexity certainly, but it presented a good flavor profile, kind of in that cedar range with like a tiny touch of sweetness, but it was enjoyable and held my attention.
I've never had a Deka that really wowed me.
You know which one wowed me?
What was the one in the coffin? What was it called?
They had they had several in the coffin.
Okay, I have one in the coffin that someone said was good.
There's one called the Player. Okay, and what it was a Connecticut.
I never had that.
And it was because what it was when they launched Ditka a few years ago, they launched a very limited amount. So they did the Player, the Coach, and the Hall of Famer.
Right.
So there was like a Connecticut, a Sungrown, and a Maduro. That Connecticut was awesome. I can't find them anymore yet, but that was. But yeah, some of the other Ditkas have been misses.
Kind of hit or miss, yeah.
I thought the 89 was a pretty good cigar. Actually, that didn't come in the coffin.
That was all right.
I've got a couple of the Dickas floating around, and they're kind of hit or miss. They're kind of hard to keep tabs on which one was good and which one wasn't, because they're all Ditka, and then you kind of lose track of like which one it is. None of them I smoked have been horrible. Put it that way. I think they're all been pretty solid offerings. I don't think there are any thrown off the boats for me.
No.
No, I mean, I think I think a lot of them fall into that $5 range. Troy went to $5.
Right. No, I
Is
agree.
where I would put them.
I agree.
But that player, that Connecticut, was exceptional. I'm surprised it was. Like I said, it was the only Connecticut they did in the line.
Excellent. What are we doing for a contest?
What is our prize pack?
This one's labeled 171. Is this episode 171?
It's episode 171.
Okay, so I have the right prize pack. I've got some AJ Fernandez, San Latano Bull, and San Latano Oval Maduros.
Okay.
They all look like Robusto in the box press, and they look like kind of old. The cellophane's kind of yellow on them.
They've been. I remember. I think that when I brought them up, like for the third anniversary.
Yeah.
Show. So they had some nice age on them.
They smell pretty good. Okay, so there's no contest for this evening because we're gonna smoke them after the show.
Oh wow.
Yeah, these are pretty well. These are well aged, dude. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll take a question from the interview with James Brown. And the question is, Fabrica Oveja Negra is the name of his factory. What does that mean?
Yep. There you go. I knew that was coming. Yep.
Good question.
Yep.
For the it's a 10-back of the San Latano Bull and the San Latano Oval Maduro in the there's a couple of new worlds in here. I don't know. There's a new world in here too.
10-back. We should be starting to get caught up on. Yeah, I think we're starting to get caught up on contests. I know I just sent out some of the stuff for the Maya Silver, so I know we're starting to get caught up here from after Christmas. We extended a few, so
right.
But yeah, send that answer to the show at StogieGeeks.com.
The show.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for listening and watching to the Stogie Geeks Show. We will see everyone next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.